Hello and welcome back to the Oceania 7K World Cup 2024. I am Surf285 and later, I hope I won't be alone. My co-commentator currently has a few things going on her end and she'll be a bit late. But anyways, I hope you guys won't get too tired of my voice. I am here to present you guys one of the most, I'd say, awaited teams in the tournament, facing against a team that managed to sneak into this round by way of the upset. We have South Korea against Taiwan, and this is a pretty good one. If my data collection has been correct, Taiwan is actually coming into this round with two of the, if I say, like, really good players in Jeff and Tart here. And obviously South Korea, I mean, everybody knows their caliber. You have Dresser, Han Jae-hoon, YZ, and Outlast. The two newer names here, Han Jae-hoon and Outlast, I think, if my notes are correct, are making their World Cup debuts this match. Should they appear, though I might be wrong with one of them. They might have appeared in an earlier 7K World Cup. Anyways, we're already starting here. We have the roles, and just as a review, there are protects in this World Cup, and protects are the if you protect a map, your opponent may not be able to ban it, and that is kind of the positioning game where both of these teams already start to dictate how their strategies will be going, and we are seeing Taiwan actually protecting Rice 5. One of the harder Rice charts in this pool, which is actually a pretty surprising thing to see, especially with South Korea's caliber. But I think in a matchup with the seedings, at least the performance actually being pretty, I'd say, lopsided on paper, you just kind of have to see like how you'll perform in general. Like, you try to do your best, try to keep up as much as possible. And I think Taiwan is going to go that route for the most part, and maybe hope for a miracle somehow. South Korea, on the other hand, making their first appearance in this World Cup as a Protect RC3, which is kind of expected considering their players. Again, South Korea is hopes to continue to restart a streak that got broken last year, finishing second place in the 2023 World Cup. How many times did they say 20 there? Getting defeated by the Philippines in the grand finals. And as it stands, like, that team makes them possibly overwhelming favorites to win it all over again. Now we're waiting for South Korea to present their ban, and I presume it should be somewhere in the LN pool. And there we go. More than just another try is kicked out. It won't get another try for this match. And Taiwan will be getting their second ban, and obviously the first pick as well. And I presume it should be also another LN pick. Maybe one of the hybrids, most likely hybrid 2 if any of the hybrids get banned. Sequential Emotions actually hasn't been a pretty popular pick. Wait a sec. Okay, Taiwan is picking Poodle. Just needed to clarify what is the second ban. Oh, they are banning Poodle, then they're picking Rice 5. There we go. Chat kind of making things appear a bit weird here. Apologies about that. But anyways, here we go. Rice 5. Taiwan is going to be picking their own Protect. Immediately opening it. Maybe they're just confident with this chart for the most part. kind of funny to see Poodle actually getting banned since it's actually one of the more popular LN picks this weekend. Though I think we should be able to see it somewhere, like in some other match later today. Taiwan is going for Rise 5 as we're seeing right now, and honestly, this is maybe them testing the waters and seeing how much they need to keep up. South Korea will be going for the main duo YZ1155 and Dresser, the same duo that played the grand finals match against the Philippines last year. And what a duo these two are. And here we go. Opening this match, New York back raise. I unfortunately don't play any casino card games, so I cannot make any reference of some sorts. And immediately, right off the bat, YZ and Dresser dominating the accuracy side. Tart actually just around the corner at that 99.5 level. Again, as I've mentioned, especially for these more lopsided matches, for lack of a better word, these accuracies that the Taiwanese are actually showing right now are pretty nutty, and maybe in a different universe, if they had a different opponent, this is very, very competitive. They're just facing a team that are very capable of getting extremely high accuracies here. As I mentioned, that we are welcoming Potassium F as a substitute commentator for the meantime. Hello.
Hello, I am here, ready to catch the very first map that we have here of South Korea versus Taiwan. So yeah, South Korea, these accuracies are actually insane. What is this? 99.9 for both players. And it looks like although Taiwan have both full combos still on the board, their accuracy is definitely falling behind. I mean, not much you can do when we have these kind of accuracies on the side of South Korea.
And Tart getting that miss is not going to help their case. Jeff is actually carrying a full combo despite the accuracy. Like just to know, like we're like, especially for like the higher seeded teams, like it's kind of normal for us to see 99.8, 99.9s on the Rice picks, which is kind of expected in the early game of a World Cup. Like these are, I'd say, the most actable charts that we will be seeing in this tournament, and we're going to see less and less of these as we go further. So we might as well appreciate all these scores. Both YZ and Dresser still carrying a 99.8 at the end. And what is his team score?
This is an absolutely insane. That's a score V1 double S from Dresser. Just the 3 200s from YZ. Hero Jeff there getting the full combo for Taiwan, but the accuracy not quite matching up. And I mean, when South Korea puts off a performance like that, there's not really that much that you can do as Taiwan here. And yeah, you say like relatively, yeah, these maps are a little bit easier to hack, you know, the Rice maps compared to the other maps, but that doesn't mean they're easy whatsoever. This map in particular, some of those sections were absolutely insane to be able to ratio. So these are just super impressive scores.
Alright, I know you probably know them already by now, but we might as well get you caught up. The protects are RC5 from Taiwan and RC3 from South Korea. RC5 already got picked by Taiwan, and as you see on the screen, LN1 and LN2 are banned. LN1 not the surprise. LN2 maybe this would have been a good option for Taiwan if
I think this is the first time. Yeah, first time we've seen LN2 being banned off. Not typically the one that teams would ban off, but maybe Taiwan are just not that comfortable with the LN in general. So maybe Taiwan wanting to go for more of the Rice picks, but South Korea, of course, banning LN1 because that is the most niche, the weirdest and most dangerous pick for the higher seeded team in South Korea.
But we did see some pretty nutty team scores on LN1 throughout the weekend, which is more than which is onto something with banning LN2. Though it would be it's kind of sad that we won't be seeing maybe one of the high 990k score on Poodle most likely.
Yeah, that is true. And you say, one of the best LN players on the roster. That is a
All right.
really good ratio as well. About 1 to 9 almost. Coming in there for Han Jae-hoon. Really strong team score again from South Korea. And Taiwan, of course, Egg Tart also finding the FC there, only the one miss coming out from Hero Jeff. So Taiwan are actually looking pretty good as far as the combos are concerned. They're matching South Korea in the combo department, but it is just that accuracy that's not quite getting them the wins here.
patterns, let's just say, especially in the higher levels. And most of the time, like, especially for players like me who are still adjusting to very high level, like higher level charts where everything you're just aiming for an HP pass, like be able to get high combos on them all. And it's something that a lot of seven players are actually pretty strong at. They're very strong at comboing. But when it comes to getting the accuracy out of the charts, especially in a setting like this, it's a different story. As we see Taiwan picking RC2, the chord stream chart. And I think we're seeing a substitution here for South Korea where Rest Surf is most likely coming in again.
Yeah, that would be expected here from South Korea. Taiwan, thinking about, kind of what the best picks for Taiwan might be, because obviously this match is a fairly large mountain to try and climb, against South Korea, #1 seed, the team that most people would expect to be the favorites of the entire tournament. Trying to find maps that are favorable for Taiwan is pretty difficult, I would say. I don't think they have any maps that you would say are particularly good picks against South Korea. But I guess the angle should be for Taiwan to pick maps that they are comfortable enough scoring good enough accuracy to maintain a kind of like close point lead. So that if South Korea does find perhaps an unfortunate miss here or there, Taiwan might be within striking distance, but they'll have to keep up, and I think that's easier said than done, because even though this is a map that theoretically Taiwan should be more comfortable with getting good accuracy on, the same goes for South Korea. We saw South Korea get, 99.8% scores. I think that might be a little bit higher even for a map like this.
Yeah, and alongside the Core Jack pick, the Core Stream pick is arguably one of... Okay, speaking of accuracy, there we go. Outlast is coming in.
I was thinking, this is a fairly straightforward Rice, ACK pick. And when I do think about ratio, this is definitely one of the names that comes to mind here, Outlast.
Yeah, and for those who are not into the mania scene, let's just say Outlast has a few 1 million scores on a few charts in the rank section. And 1 million score meaning all Rainbow 300s. I doubt it's going to happen in a tournament match, but that's just a testament on their accuracy.
But yeah, definitely one of those players that is going to be aiming for that insanely high ratio, and we can see it right out of the gates here. Both Dressurf and Outlast holding on to 99.97 scores. Eggtart holding on 99.76. Hero Jeff dropping down a little bit in terms of the accuracy, and that's a combo break as well early on into the map, right after the 400 combo mark.
Eggtart actually carrying a 99.9. Ooh, Outlast! Alright.
Very unfortunate miss there, right at like the last node of that pattern. Just missed that one accidentally, but that does mean that it was very clean on the side of Outlast, so even though that was a miss, still has higher accuracy than both of the Taiwanese players.
Well, that's kind of like the thing about these early game charts as well. A lot of players are already used to playing higher level charting, and sometimes when the players have to go a bit down, like in terms of like the physicality and all, it's pretty easy to trip up and maybe forget the basics of some sorts. I doubt that that's the case for that drop. It might have just been a misinput or maybe a lag spike. We don't know. Still unfortunate though, but even with that, 99.85 with possibly a missed chord, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, like without a miss, if it was a score v1 double S, 99.85 would mean about a 1 to 10 ratio. Like with, this is looking like maybe 1 to 15 ratio SS, something along those lines. Very, very strong accuracy, and it's climbing still. We can see it's gone up to 99.87 now for Outlast. Dressurf still holding on to that 99.95 throughout the entire map. And Eggtart still hanging in there. 99.7 is still a very, very impressive score. But we're dealing with some of the best players in the world on the South Korean side. And it just looks like they have no weaknesses to speak of here.
Yeah, especially in the early game, they're extremely bulletproof. Well, not so with
Oh
a
my
few
god, Dresser.
misses. All right, I do. This isn't the core jack pick, all right. I know core scene picks are pretty easy to act, but this is not core jacks. All right, all
The
right.
two-digit 300 count there from Dresser. Outlast as well only had, 139, I think, 300s at the 1-to-20 ratio. So once again,
Also,
I feel like the pick made sense for Taiwan, but, there's just not much to do. South Korea are
yeah,
just looking way too strong on these ones.
and also kind of shout out also for Tart actually full comboing for Taiwan. I mean that is still a really impressive score. Again, in a different universe, if they had a different opponent, this might have gone the other way. And there we go. We see Wave Tapper from
Oh
Dresser.
no.
Oh boy.
Oh no, we
Is
thought those
anyone go-
ratios were high just then. Just wait until we see these.
is if there's a team that could maybe match what we saw from Japan last night, it might it it would be South Korea, I would think. Just a
Yeah, and
recap, Butanic got 24 gold 300s.
Renly got 30, I
And
believe.
yeah, Rain Lily got 30.
So that's 54 total for Japan. And I think like a whole bunch of them were in the intro as well because of these spacebar jacks at the very
Yeah.
intro. So we'll see. Of course, Outlast and Dresser definitely players capable of doing that, but Taiwan as well has been getting the FCs on a lot of these maps. We'll see how well they can hold on, because we've seen even very, very strong players get misses on core jack picks like this.
Yeah, very easy to lose your rhythm. I guess I mentioned like the density usually may be a factor. Taiwan actually, if I'm not mistaken, actually have a pretty strong team score on last week's core jack pick. So South Korea needs to be at the top of their game if they want this to be a very straightforward chart.
Yeah, and actually we can see right now Taiwan's accuracies are very good. 99.95, 99.92. Obviously South Korea right now both on the 99.99, which is incredible, but still this is close enough to be about 700 points. And oh, that's a little bit of a bad accuracy drop from Hero Jeff there at the start of that section. But oh, Egg Tart.
Oh, darn. Oh, that's so unfortunate. They were carrying the higher of the two Taiwanese accuracies.
Yeah, and they were holding on really well for the first third of that map, keeping it within 700 points. So if there was a mistake, that could have been an opportunity. But now, with those misses coming in from Taiwan with the accuracy drop, it does feel like it's very hard to expect South Korea to make any kind of mistake that's big enough to throw away this lead.
And it will take a pretty massive breakdown. Maybe even somebody dropping a 99.5, 99.4.
And
Which is a tough ask. Considering what we're seeing right now. I am not going to mention anything.
Just a bit of info about Japan's score, since you mentioned that one. I believe that was 299.98.
Yeah.
So we're seeing 99.99 on Dresser still. 99.98 on Outlast. There is the end burst, which can be very tricky to get good ratio on. Egg Tart unfortunately missing one more time, but I don't think at this point it matters too much. Hero Jeff actually has a really strong recovery from that earlier act drop. Almost up to 99.9% themselves.
You mentioned a few bursts in the end. I think I remember No Name mentioning in Twitch chat on one of the matches like that part claiming a few victims.
Okay, Dresser.
Doesn't seem to be the case right now.
What are you doing here? What's
Okay.
the count looking like?
All
okay,
right.
down.
All right.
Does this beat Japan?
Oh, barely for.
Wait, no, but I think Japan won that by 300s. Just doing the calculations, but
man.
that's a 1-to-100 from Dressurf right there. Beating, wait, so Dressurf beating
by one.
Botanic by one. By one.
By one.
By one, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
but
strong ratios on the side of Taiwan as well. If you remove those misses, those 50s as well, this would have been a very, very strong team score from Taiwan. But once again, if South Korea doesn't make a mistake, there's not really any possibility for Taiwan to gain any points here.
now we're seeing Taiwan picking Hybrid 3, the OWC 2023 original. And honestly, I think Taiwan here is on the mindset that we might as well play one of the harder charts in this pool and have fun. And they have a pretty
I do
tough
think
ass.
that's a pretty common mindset a lot of the time. If you are like an underdog in this case, when you are probably not winning the match, 5 points in a row from now on, I don't think any team in the world can realistically accomplish that against South Korea. But yeah, just pick the map that you find the funnest, I guess. Have a bit of fun with the match. It is, of course, South Korea on match point. Taiwan trying to get on the board for the first time.
Now we're seeing YZ coming in for Outlast for this pick. Again, no substitute. Well, Outlast coming in for Dresser. So I think we've seen all but one. Oh wait, never mind. I think just a few revolving doors on the South Korean side. Han Jae-un coming in, I think. Yeah.
As I said before,
keeping us on our toes.
You can just roll a dice. Which two South Korean players do you want to play this pick? All four of them make sense. I don't think there's any argument that you can make that one of them shouldn't be playing this map.
And here we go with Fana. I mean, to be fair now that I think about it, I mean, Outlast with the accuracy, Han Jae-hun being being one of the best Ellen players in the entire roster. I think this might be one of their stronger hybrid pairing. Maybe we could see Dresser playing a hybrid, or maybe a YZ as well in the later round. Again,
especially for early rounds. Yeah, this is an absolutely terrifying team lineup for South Korea here. We'll see how it works out for them here. So far, off to a good start. Both players on Taiwan dropping a little bit of 200s near the start, so accuracy going to be a bit lower than South Korea.
But again, as you mentioned, in a different universe, like these accuracies are extremely high. You have like very high act, and then you see top seed act, and like it's so hard to be able to keep up with that kind of accuracy. Though at least with the score gap we're seeing right now, Taiwan is well within that striking distance. And this chart in particular is actually very, very tricky to maintain your consistency on, as we see the patterns starting to pick up.
Oh,
there we go, Outlast to the first miss.
And hang on a second, that was a pretty big accuracy drop with that. And the second miss, actually, hold on a second. Taiwan holding a little bit of a lead for now, but the accuracy still in the favor of South Korea because of Han Jae-hun holding that 99.77. But Outlast with a third miss now, and these two full combos on the side of Taiwan putting in a lot of work to counteract that accuracy difference. But Hero Jeff finds the first miss on the Taiwanese side. Egg Tart follows as well.
But Outlast had traded the miss from Egg Tart.
Only Han Jae-hun left with the full combos, and more misses coming in. Taiwan not liking that section right there with the LNs.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like, while the intensity of this chart picks up very fast, as we see even Outlast had problems, but Taiwan, as much as they would have hung on to the hope that they may be able to still steal a point, but the caliber of both South Korea players that we're seeing right now has made a difference, and they will be booking a place to the winners bracket quarterfinals, sweeping Taiwan.
And you have to imagine there was some kind of chance right there in that map. Around the halfway point, Taiwan had that 99.4% double FC, but at some point just ran out of juice, and Han Jae-hun making the difference. 991k.
That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous scorer from Han Jae-hun.
Yeah, and
Well,
as
that
we've
is what
been saying, that you can't really do anything about that. Unstoppable force here is South Korea, and they are going to be moving on in the winners bracket, while Taiwan is going to be knocked down to the losers to play next week.
against your home country, actually.
Oh yeah, South Korea versus Australia. That is going to be the
Yeah, our
matchup
home
next week.
countries.
The next victim
Our
for
home countries.
for South Korea.
What a way to show your bias. The opposite bias. There we go. The confirmation there. Congratulations, South Korea, for winning this match, and a very amazing showing there from Taiwan as well. And I think they're going to be a force to reckon with in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I definitely think Taiwan are looking like a strong team overall, especially in the combo side of things with a lot of those maps. So I think some teams should watch out, especially with the consistency side. But that is going to be that. And do we have another match coming up next?
There should be another one in 2 hours, and that is China facing against Germany. A pretty interesting one. I mean, Germany did one of the one of the 2 upsets from last weekend. Taiwan was the first one, and Germany is the other one. They did beat the United Kingdom last weekend by way of a sweep. And China, I mean, they're the number 2 seed of this tournament, one of the favorites to reach the grand finals, carrying actually one of the only players from that historic 2016 7K World Cup team. In I hope the name change is correct. Van Wilder.
Yeah, that Van Wilder, Zhang Fan, also known as, right?
Yeah.
4K Game By, all of those different aliases that they have. But yeah, make sure to check that one out. That's going to be in about 2.5 hours from now, I believe. And it's going to be the last match of the weekend as well. So right after that, you would expect a map pool showcase to be coming in as well. So stay tuned there. In the meantime, you can check out the World Cup banners, which are in the store right now. So if you have any one of your favorite teams here that you want to support, make sure to go check those out, and they'll show up on your profile.
Yeah. And yes, we are seeing teams, because you can buy all 24 of them if you have like around $48 to spare in your bank account. Well, obviously, we do not condone any irresponsible financial spending, but if you have the means, do so.
If you want a very long profile, that's what happens.
Yeah,
they do stack.
Yeah, like, I mean, just the morals of being a former bank employee, let's promote responsible spending. But again, if you have the means, buy all 48. If not, go support maybe your home country or the country of your favorite players. And we hope to have a fun time scrolling through very long profiles.
Yep, but then we will see you very shortly, so stay tuned in 2 hours.